Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Just Enjoy. This is Banyan here. Sorry for the delay in episodes. It's been about 2 weeks now, but for all you that know, I perform, got a record label going, got my own business going, so it's been hectic over the last couple weeks. But we are back today with a very special guest. I'm going to go ahead and let him introduce himself, and we're going to be off and running. How's it going, man?
I'm good. What's up, everyone? My name's Sonny Oliveira. My DJ name is Rolodolo. You can find me at Rolodolo Music on Instagram. And yeah, man, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. I appreciate the plug instantly with the Instagram so people know. I get to the end sometimes, I'm like, oh man, I gotta let them know. So cool, man. So how'd you get into producing? What's kind of your back history?
Man, I mean, electronic music for me goes back to high school and discovering like Deadmau5 and Justice. Mm-hmm. From then went to college, and I went to San Diego State. Okay. And that was when, it feels like EDM started to blow up. And there was Swedish House Mafia, Avicii, those sorts of sounds. Mm-hmm. I definitely dove more towards like a more fun, wonkier sound like Jack Beats and Crookers and stuff like that. So anyways, over time, just have always been listening to house music. Finally just bought myself like a little plastic Newmark mixer, and was just a bedroom DJ for a long time. Just taught myself how to mix, and then finally, I mean, that was from 22 to 31 was just doing that, and now finally at 31 I decided to start producing. So that was almost 2 years ago. And I'm 33 now, and I've put out a couple songs, and it's been quite a journey. It's been fun.
So your software of choice is Ableton?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, when you hear people talk about producing, especially producing house music, everybody's on Ableton. It's the gold. It's the gold standard.
Yeah, definitely. So you said you got into that 2 years ago. So you've made some pretty good progress in 2 years.
Yeah, it's kind of an obsessive quality. I'm not gonna lie. When I first started, I could waste hours just on the computer trying to figure out what the heck I'm doing. And since then, I've gotten better at some time management skills, which I'm still working on, but and trying to fit it into my life. Nice.
So you just recently came out with an EP. I saw.
I did.
Loved it. Thank you. Yeah. What's the?
It's called Bish Please EP. It's 2 songs. The first song is Bish Please. The second song is called 4 a.m. The inspiration for the first song, I was at Proper over New Year's Eve here in San Diego. And I saw West End play, and he played this song called Set Me Free by D.O.D. And it's real fast, like 130 BPM and super bouncy, and that's my jam. So I used that as a reference track and tried out some of my own vocals. That's definitely something I'm trying to do for my music is come up with creative ways of using my own vocals. Unfortunately, they didn't work out. Because if you listen to the song, that's not me. But a lesson I have learned through producing is that not all my ideas are good ideas. And when I first started out, I would try so hard to like make an idea work. But now I've gotten better at like, if it's not working, just let it go and move on to the next one. So anyways, found some hip hop vocals online, and we're able to like, it's a guy and a girl going back and forth. So if you haven't listened to it, please go check it out. Super fun. And
link will be in the description of the video. Be sure to check that out. Especially give them a follow. All your stuff, I assume, that's your main marketing outlets. So
it is
awesome. So touching on the vocal thing, I was just having that talk with my manager. Where I was like, man, Splice is great for like a lot of other things, but I feel like when it comes to the vocals, it's just like if you're not the first person to use that sample, just forget about it, because there's so many like big popular songs that have splice vocals.
Totally.
And, they're already used. So it's like, what do?
You got to try out your own stuff. I mean, come up with ideas, be thinking about things.
What's up, Parker?
What's up, dude?
Cut. Parker, close the door, bud. There we go. That was my brother.
Shout out to Parker.
Yeah, I know, right? Here, go ahead and keep talking. I'm gonna get the door real quick.
Okay, sure. Yeah, I mean, just going back to the vocal bit, like, I think there's so many great producers out there, and we're all kind of pulling from the same source, aka Splice and vocal packs. You got to find a way to stand out. I listened to a lot of Cloverdale tutorials. Do you know who Cloverdale is?
Yeah. I've seen a couple
that guy
of his
kicks
videos.
ass, and he always says, "How are you going to make your song memorable?" Because a good beat is just a good beat. But
Yep.
if you can put something on top of it that makes your friends hum it while they're not listening to it,
Yeah.
or they, someone's like, hey, what's that song that goes like this?
Yeah.
That's the hook. That's what makes you
Mhm.
remember it. And I'm doing my best to come up with those little tidbits. I
Yeah.
mean, we're writing house music here. We don't have to be Bob Dylan.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
we can,
Yep.
just come up with something fun, come up with something catchy, and hopefully
Mhm.
you can pair the track behind it to kind of match the vibe of whatever
Yeah.
is being said.
I think that's a big element people forget about in house, because I don't want to say it's niche, but in its own way it still is, where if you're like really a house head, like you just get it. Like you could
Yeah.
listen to something without lyrics and be cool.
I
but
realize that every day how much of a house head I am, and then I'll show my friends and my wife and like
yeah.
everyone that I know is pretty much a casual listener.
Yeah.
And I'm just so honed in on
Yep.
the smallest, stupidest detail.
Yep, I feel like
And it's like,
yeah.
oh, not everyone's like this. So,
Yeah.
you need to pull yourself out of your own mindset.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that was one thing that I learned kind of when I was in school, it's just studying famous, pop songs and all that stuff. It really comes down to the vocal because, people
Right.
communicate and speak with each other.
Totally.
So if there's something like a reoccurring phrase or like a catchy, chorus or whatever
Yeah.
it may be.
The human ear responds the best to the human voice.
Mhm.
I used to think it was kind of cheap or cheating to just like use vocal chops as
Yeah.
like the lead element in your
Mhm.
track, but it makes sense. Like
Yep.
that's going to register more than any
For sure.
synth you program would do.
Yeah, people like what people like, and that's
Yeah.
just, it's either my thing is like either just kind of get with it and be like, let's screw it, let's just give what the people want, or get in my own head and be like, no, I'm not doing that, and blah blah blah, So it's definitely hard, and I think a big I've actually met a lot of people recently who have been trying to do their own, just like you said, your kind of own vocals, because it's so hard.
Guys like, do you listen to Deeper Purpose?
Yes.
That is so good.
Yeah.
Like it's spoken word, it's fun, it's bouncy, it has a certain like tonality to it that makes it his.
Yep.
And he doesn't have an amazing voice.
Yeah.
He's not Carrie Underwood, but it doesn't matter. We're making house music,
Exactly.
know. So
You just need to talk.
you
okay,
got to try. You just got to go for it.
Yep. Definitely. Well, cool, man. So, you got any stuff? I know you have a release coming out with Angry Dog right now. Other than that, is there any other kind of things you got?
Sure. Man, I have Free Your Mind coming out with you guys
Okay.
on Angry Dog.
Mhm.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Stoked to be a part of it.
Yeah.
It's funny because I made that song for the Crossed like After Dark competition,
Oh, okay.
and I joked on my Instagram that my dog Hank ghost produced it.
Oh yeah.
So
Hey, there you go.
so now it's coming out on Angry Dog Records, so
Absolutely.
it just makes sense.
Sweet.
Other than that, I've got a verbal commitment on 2 songs.
Okay.
One of them, I hate to be this guy, but one of them's a very big label, and
Okay.
or at least like a dream label for me
Yeah.
as of right now, starting out. If that comes through, that would be in the fall.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
should be pretty fresh.
So, in terms of your styling, are you kind of trying to stick to one? Because I know you said you're 2 years into this. Like, do you know exactly kind of what you're?
I do.
Okay.
Rolodolo is fun.
Okay.
It's 100%. I want people to come to my set and have a good time
Yeah.
and bounce.
Absolutely.
And, so I'm always looking to make beats that kind of exemplify that. I'm not trying to take anyone too much on like an emotional journey, but rather just like, hey, come to my set and have a good time.
Absolutely. Okay, cool. Yeah, we're super excited for that. I know the compilation's coming out May 9th, we said, right?
Yeah.
I got
So
so
who
many
else
dates.
is on the compilation?
So we got you, we got Bird, we got Avo Chapo,
Yeah.
Lower, we have Blip Shift. We got one more. Oh my gosh, please forgive me.
Charlie DeVille.
No, not Charlie's not on the compilation. We got one more though.
Okay.
I'll remember.
Sorry to put
it.
you on the spot.
No, it's all good. I got so many things going on right now.
I bet.
Just try to keep
Yeah,
it
man,
all.
it's very obvious. Like, I mean, we found each other on Instagram,
Yeah.
and it's clear that you've got a lot of things going on,
Yeah.
and you're working it hard. So,
Yeah.
good for you.
Thank you, man. Yeah, we're trying to go for. I think 6 to 7 artists. I think we're still waiting on one person to get back to us.
I can't wait to hear what else is on there.
Yeah, it's going to be cool. It's going to be more of like so far what it sounds like, it's more of kind of like a deep house, minimal kind of compilation, It's not nothing too crazy or exasperated, so it'll be fun. So yeah, exactly.
Cool.
Kind of those after hours,
kind
late
of
night
clubby
stuff. Yeah. So that'll be fun when we get to it. But yeah, no, we're super excited to have you.
Would you say like playing the afters or playing anything post the main show is like what's your favorite time slot? Is what I'm getting at.
My favorite time slot, I gotta say, is probably second. So if it's a lineup of 3 for the night, I always like going second. I just feel like the first person kind of warms it up for the night, and then
the crowd's ready.
Well, yeah, and then the crowd's ready, and then as it goes, it just gets more and more packed, and then when you end is at the peak.
Yeah.
And depending on who the headliner is and how many people they bring and, all that intricate details, the headline spot sometimes isn't always the best, because it'll be really good the first half, and then, people could start dropping off slowly, and then by the time you get to the end of the night, there's like no one in there, and you're like, well, that was kind of a bummer.
How would you handle that as a DJ? Like you're DJing and you kind of notice a lull in the crowd. Like they've spent their energy. So what's your move?
So I would say this kind of happened at the last Avenue show. It was, it was pretty chill at first because when you hit that 10:15 spot, I was 10:15 to 11:15, and especially at Avenue, it's very slow at first. That middle section, it just grows and grows. And then it's crazy. They're at like after 1 a.m. is when it gets really going. Yeah. And it's like the club closes at 1:30. So I know a lot of people use that spot as kind of like an after, like an after spot, which I think they should do an after series there because they're so packed at that time. But that's for them to decide,
Right.
But it was very kind of a lull at first, and I expected it. But it was still kind of a lull towards the 3/4 spot of my set. And I think it just comes down to practice and good crowd reading.
Yeah.
And, because I had like a really pumping bass house set that I was kind of doing.
Right.
And I was just like, Christian came up on stage for a minute and was like, just kind of like messing around with putting his USB in. And I'm like, dude, there is no way I'm going to play the next 5 songs that I have lined up because it was just too hard for like the crowd. So, you just kind of got to take a step back.
Yeah, I think you got to hit the reset button a little bit and like
definitely
pull it back into first gear.
Yeah.
Give them something that's on the floor and just chill.
Yep.
And give them a second to kind of like catch their breath.
Exactly.
And let's work our way back up.
Yeah. And, that comes down to kind of knowing your arsenal that you have and what song, because you don't want to like kill the energy, but at the same time, you can't be going, main stage Coachella crazy. And
well, a lot of people are like, will joke that DJing's easy and mixing, like learning to mix isn't the hardest thing in the world, but learning to read the crowd and knowing what to play when and at what time, based off the energy in the room, that's everything.
Yeah.
And, that you're in the presence of a good DJ when they can just like kind of take you on a ride and you haven't really even been thinking about the night. You're just in it.
Exactly. And, it's funny because you probably saw last night we did like a little beach party thing, and it was cool. And
where was that at?
It was at Mission Beach. So
nice.
Yeah, we just brought a
There's
generator.
Always a good little pop up.
There's always something. Yeah. So we just brought a couple speakers. Mixing board, little generator. Shout out to that generator. I don't know how it stayed on for 5 hours, but it did.
Yeah.
And that was like the first time that I did like back to back with Nigel, but we just kind of went with it, and it was good practice. And I even told Christian after, I said, I had a lot of fun just kind of doing things on the fly, and you just kind of learn, what works here, what works there, blah, blah, blah.
Just, and reading your gut in the moment. Like I remember my first couple times, like playing for people publicly.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to like rehearse my sets from start to finish, and I knew exactly what song was going to be when and when I was going to transition. And I've done that a handful of times, and more times than not, it doesn't work out.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
it's like, I finally realized as like if I'm going to keep DJing more and more,
Yep.
like A-Track's one of my idols, and A-Track always talks about like just you have to know how to read the crowd and you have to be in the moment. And I finally just stopped doing that. And once you step up there, just start slow, see how it goes, and then take it from there.
That's what I'm working towards, and I'm glad you're talking about this because this just goes exactly with what I was thinking about last night on the way home. I'm like, man, maybe I gotta kind of, even if you just have like the first 3 songs that like, okay, I'm starting with these 3, or I'm ending with these 3 for sure, and then whatever happens in that middle part, man, I feel like that's just kind of up
I've
to
even
the
had
night.
times where like I planned like, yes, I'm starting with these 3, but then based off how the last guy finishes, those next 3 might not be the call.
Exactly.
And I mean,
Exactly,
I've been like waiting to DJ at Shelter, and people are coming up to me like, "What are you gonna play first? When you play first?" I'm like, I'm still kind of waiting for this guy to finish. Like, so how's this gonna go?
Yep. Yeah, and I that once again just comes down to kind of practice and just getting comfortable because those first,
and trusting yourself.
Yeah.
You really got to trust yourself because it's easy to think that in the moment, like,
I'm gonna mess up.
I'm gonna mess up.
Yeah.
We're always fighting that.
Yeah, and that's kind of the beauty with DJing because I originally came from like the band performance side of things, and your set is your set, man. And if it's not hitting, if it's not hit with the crowd, sucks for you, man. That's all you got. You
just got to keep going.
you could improv, and we would occasionally, but it's just not that same where it's like, okay, this song is not working. Time to just switch it over. So real kind of treat of DJing that I've learned is like, if I could change something, I can. I don't need to be so pressured, like, oh my God, the crowd just hates us or whatever it is, Yeah. But cool. Do you have any, speaking on that, do you have any like shows or plans? With,
so we have a show coming up next Saturday at Nautilus Tavern in La Jolla.
Okay.
It's me, Kyle Perez, Slamston, Forms, and Zenlo.
Okay.
So I don't know if you guys heard of Zenlo, but he's been on Insomniac and Box of Cats and Sink or Swim. And
nice.
I mean, he's really doing it. You know?
Yeah.
And he's who I use for all my mix and masters. So if anyone listening needs a proper mix and master, hit up Zenlo.
Awesome. So how did they hit you up? Was it like a collaborative?
Yeah. So the way it ended up working out, going back to kind of where I got to where I'm at, I joined, so I started learning how to produce, and that was in June 2021. And from June to about December, I was just kind of on my own, just clicking around, not really making much progress. And then I learned about Kick and Bass, which is an online Discord put on by West End, who's pretty well doing tech house DJ.
Yeah.
And through joining Kick and Bass, Zenlo's a coach, and with the coaches, you can take private lessons. So I started taking lessons with him, and he's helped bring me along. And he lives up in Long Beach. I told him I live in San Diego, and he tells me him and his buddies are trying to throw parties in San Diego. So I said, I'm your guy.
Okay.
And so, I've just kind of been the boots on the ground, knocking on doors and trying to make opportunities happen.
Okay. So have you played at a Nautilus before?
No, I haven't. I actually just went there for the first time about a month ago, and it's a pretty cool little music spot. They had they were doing like a pop punk show. They've done DJ shows. They do all types of live music. Nice. So this will be our first time.
Sweet. Yeah, that's always fun. Kind of picking a cool little spot, and just getting some people together, and just kind of.
That's the best. Hitting
it off.
I'd rather DJ to like 20 people who are super into it than 100 people who like are just there to socialize.
And that's a good point, because I feel like a lot of people don't quite understand that unless they've been in that position. Because I think we've all been in that position where there's like a room full of people. You're like, dude, this is just not it, man. But then you'll be in a room with 10 people and they're just going crazy, and you're like, dude, this is like the greatest thing ever. So man, I
feel like the scene here in San Diego is a good 50-50 split between like music heads and people who like to be there but are more for socializing, and nothing against that. I am one more of the music guys. So you do kind of like, when I'm at shows, you see people responding and you see people not responding. And I'd always, if we can play for a small room of people who are totally into it, let's go.
I've noticed that, because even sometimes watching performance videos, or if I'm on stage, or like somebody that I know that I took a video, and the moment you're like, oh, this is awesome, then you look at the video and go, like, half the room is just standing there, but then there's like the other half is like completely losing it. So it's like, Well, if some people are dancing, it means you're probably doing all right. But
Yeah.
you're right. There is a lot of socialization,
And that's like when you're up there spinning, what a crowd that looks like it's actually rocking is just really just kind of like swaying side to side.
Yep.
You wish you saw everyone like jumping around, but really you just need to see like a nice bob between everybody.
Yeah. I think that is the difference between the San Diego and LA scene. I feel like San Diego is more of a, like you said, it's 50-50. You're not really sure what you're gonna get. I mean, unless you go to like certain places where you for sure know. But going up to some of the underground stuff in LA, I've noticed, I'm like, oh damn, these people are like really into this.
That's probably. Do you think that's because it's just more of an underground scene? Because I feel like here in
Probably.
San Diego, it's not that. Like,
Yeah.
I'm still looking for where. If you know where the underground spots are in San Diego, shoot me a DM.
Yeah.
Like,
I know, for real.
I've seen online like tunnel raves and stuff like that. Like, yes, that's where you want to be.
Well, I heard there was one popular one where they gave an address and you had to show up to the address, and then they gave you like a ticket with another address, and then you had to go to like a separate one, and it was like this whole kind of like scavenger hunt to just find it. And then you finally get there, and of course the people that are going through that are going to be like diehard music fans, So I've always wanted to be a part of some like a warehouse or I know a lot of the tunnel stuff is like techno.
Does it can be whatever.
Oh yeah,
for
sure, for sure. Yeah,
it can be whatever. Does Angry Dog have any plans of like hosting their own parties or doing anything like that?
Yes. So I can't give too much details yet. We're having a meeting this week. I could probably tell you a little when we're off the air here, but we're gonna be doing a reoccurring thing, probably weekly, bi-weekly at a certain place in downtown. So
Okay.
we're gonna try and bring the value that we're promising everybody.
Yeah.
And
Cool.
if you haven't submitted a record to us yet, please do so. If you want to be a part of this stuff, we try and give anybody who we sign as much opportunity as we can. So
That's amazing.
Yeah, so that's going to be a reoccurring thing, and we're planning on kind of taking over.
Actually, now that you brought that up, when we talk off air, I have a spot that I'd like to show you because I just found it. I don't know if it's the same one or could be another opportunity.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'll tell you once we're off here, but
Cool.
Yeah, man. So so you got some stuff coming out on the labels.
Yeah,
That's going good. I mean, for 2 years in, your stuff sounds really good.
Thank you. Appreciate it. I'm definitely trying to get to my 10,000 hours as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
That's like, I wish. I've been thinking about making beats since I was 16.
Yeah.
And it took me over 15 years to like finally do it because it seemed so unattainable or like you just didn't know the channels or the ways to get there.
Yeah.
I took a couple years of piano and I took a couple years of drums but it was all really me just trying to get to this point now. And what my point is like, you don't have to, it's a learnable skill. You don't have to be like born with this amazing musical talent. And I think that kind of stops people who have interests. They're like, oh, well, I don't know anything about music. Well, it's like you can learn it like you can learn the golf swing.
Yep.
Like, it's just keep putting the work in and teach your ears to have like really detailed hearing.
Yeah.
Because I think that's what's going to separate a lot of people.
Yeah. And that's a good point because I've met a lot of people recently who come from a more mathematical engineering background, but those people thrive in electronic music because there's a lot of components that utilize, sound engineering and frequency and
right.
So I like you said, I feel like you could come from any background as long as you kind of have to have the discipline, to sit down and be like, okay, I'm going to learn this. Obviously nobody's
DJing is a great start for learning how to produce because you learn how to EQ music, you learn volume levels, you learn pitch, some really basic core components, and so that when you step down in front of whatever DAW you're working on, these ideas aren't so foreign to you.
Well, and you know what you're listening for.
Yeah,
I was telling that to Bird. I said to him, I'm like, because he was showing me some of his songs that he was making, and he's got one coming out with us. And I just told him, I said, man, I started DJing like first, but I wasn't like super, I was more Ableton production first through high school, but I feel like you have the advantage performing and knowing, a bass line like this does really well.
Yeah.
Or these lyrics hit super well in and that you're right. It is a big advantage to have coming into production.
Yeah. And it's a much cheaper entry point.
Yeah.
I remember going to Guitar Center and paying like $100 for the cheapest mixer that they had and using Virtual DJ on my laptop.
Same, man,
and just get your foot in the door. Like I've got a buddy now who's talking to me about DJing and about production and it seems like everyone's always like, oh, I'm going to do it once I do this. Yeah. And just jump.
Exactly.
Just go. And
jump into
it took me 15 years to jump, but I finally jumped and I'm so happy I did. I want to be like one of the greatest. I want to be Skrillex. I want to be Chris Lake.
Yeah.
I want to be Lane 8. Like these guys have just such amazing productions that tell stories.
Yeah.
And that's what I want my music to be.
Yeah, for sure. And that's another thing too, is to, have a goal. A lot of people, they just kind of, I guess I'll just see where this takes me. It's like, no, dude, like get a goal. And even if it's like so crazy and astronomical, well, if you shoot, once again, the same, shoot for the stars, you'll hit the clouds or whatever it is, and it's
shoot for the moon, you land amongst the stars.
Exactly. Yeah. So, but I know you mentioned you did you did kind of like a mentorship, and I want to touch on the importance of that because it wasn't
I've had a lot of mentors. Like you got to go looking for that because it's
necessary.
It's necessary. And like, once you get into the music scene, you realize how many people are doing it and how many people are ahead of you and have experiences you don't have, and you can lean on them. Yeah. Like if you're interested, start DMing DJs who are just a little bit ahead of you and pay them $50 or whatever to speak for an hour and just pick their brain. Whether that's about production or navigating the industry, signing music. I'd say from my point until now, I've probably leaned on like 4 guys already. Yeah. And it's just, this whole thing is networking.
Oh, it is.
This thing is all networking. Everyone, once you get to a certain level, everyone's a great DJ. Everyone's a great producer. So how are you going to stand out and make connections? And that's just through being a good person in the industry.
Yeah. I mean, if it wasn't for, me learning my mentorship program with Nigel, I did that one interview with him and pretty much just thanked him. I'm like, dude, I learned so much in like a year and a half that I don't know where I would be if, I'm nowhere near where I want to be, but I know I would not be where I am now if I didn't do that. So
what are some of your goals?
So I definitely, I feel like my goals, I always kind of have like concise, little benchmarks I want to hit, but they change, depending on kind of what I'm feeling and whatever's going on. But I've recently become very more business oriented, and even being in this scene, I noticed that a lot of it's business, and I feel like a lot of people fail on that because they don't realize it's they don't understand the numbers or how to change your goal based on the landscape of the scene. And because some people get so like, oh no, I'm just making this type of music, and it's like, well, dude, that music's been dead for 2 years. Like, you're not gonna get anywhere. So I would say it's more business oriented, and obviously I want the record label to be doing well, and it's just mainly kind of to boost and help other people to kind of reach their goals, because I know it's so hard to we're still all trying ourselves to get to this certain point. I mean, obviously I want to be, personally with my stuff, I want to be doing festivals and just bigger club gigs, and I'm just trying to start kind of small, but I would say festivals, like EDC, stuff like that. Maybe get signed to some bigger get signed to some bigger labels, just kind of get the art out there more and just kind of make a good brand that people could kind of just follow and relate to, I would say.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely with DJing, like who you are as a person and your personality is baked into that. I mean, like, who doesn't love Fisher?
I know, right? Yeah.
Like, that guy's got an amazing personality. There's probably a large portion of people who don't know what his music is specifically, but they love him, and you can't deny that. So, you got to put that out there.
Yeah, and that's huge for DJing, especially because, let's be honest, there's only so much you could do while mixing on stage or DJing, It's almost like, a lot of the times it's like, okay, well, you could make a playlist of this guy's exact set and not have him up there, and it wouldn't be nearly the same as if he was up there.
Right.
And,
Well, that's the thing I've been working on lately is like people want to see you perform and whatever that is in your way.
Mm-hmm.
But I used to have a hard time like looking up at the crowd.
Yeah.
And now I'm like making a point to like make eye contact with specific people in the crowd and just have like a moment of where we're like, hey, we're both feeling this together.
Yep.
And I definitely think like, people, you're standing up there alone. Like you are the viewpoint.
Yeah.
Give them something.
Yep. I know, right?
Don't just be staring down at your decks the whole time.
Yeah. It becomes a habit, definitely, because I remember even, this is the benefit of like being in like bands and stuff, especially if everybody's committed. When you're at rehearsals, you could kind of like tell each other, if you're all professional, you could kind of go, hey dude, when you're playing, like you gotta like move up front during this and you can't
give them some showmanship.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's the one thing I do enjoy about being in like a group is because then I feel like I could take those lessons and kind of translate over myself, because when you're just by yourself DJing, it's really hard to kind of check yourself and go, oh man, that I shouldn't have done. Like I need to be, looking up more, put my arms up and whatever it may be, because, people are there to see you.
Don't stand up on the decks though. That's the one thing. Don't do that.
Don't do that. I've seen so many.
Don't do that.
Yeah. I've seen so many videos. I saw a video of a guy, he just like, he like tripped and just completely fell straight on the whole table, came down. I'm like, dude, what? I mean, he probably went viral for it, but
other than that, I think one of the worst DJ trends ever to happen was when they would make everyone squat down in the crowd.
Yeah.
That was like a Swedish House Mafia thing where I was like, okay, everyone get down.
Everybody get down.
Get down. I'm like, please don't make me get down.
I know,
I do not want to do this.
I know. Yeah, man. It's there was another video of a guy. It was like the weirdest setup. He was like in it was like a big stadium. I don't know exactly where or who this was, but he had like a card table. Like it was just like a basic, flimsy table, and he was jumping up and down and he slipped and the whole table just fell over. Yeah, and I'm like, first of all, I'm like, first of all, what's going on up there? It's this huge stadium with just like a card table.
Yeah.
It's just like somebody wasn't planning correctly here.
No.
Yeah, it's super weird, but man, it's the practice is definitely essential. And even if you could have friends take videos of you performing and then you just sit down after the show and just
you're like, that's what I look like.
Exactly. Yeah. And even, just sit there and take an honest look at yourself and go,
like, oh,
I need to fix
I'm not
something.
as sick as I thought I was.
Yeah, exactly, man. Yeah. So, well, cool, man. Sounds like there's a lot of big stuff coming up. Normally I set a timer when we're doing this. You know how long we've been going? I'm not.
No, I don't. No, but I think, we're doing just fine.
Yeah, we're doing good. But, yeah, man. I'll let you know about the Saturday things coming up, because, like I said, if you get signed to, if we sign whatever track you are, we want to bring the opportunities. So
yeah, I can't wait to put it out.
That'll be exciting. But other than Nautilus, do you have any other kind of stuff lined up? Or
I mean, shows? No. Yeah, I'm just trying to put as much time as I can in my studio and make music and play a show every here and then.
Yeah.
And
So I know prior to the interview you said, you're not really pushing to do any bigger club gigs, but if the opportunity were to arise, would you be?
Oh, of course. Yeah. I just don't see much return on like being out there trying to hustle for every gig for me personally.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I said I like to try to spend my time making music. Yeah. I think quality over quantity for me when it comes to gigs.
Yeah.
If I had the opportunity to go downtown and play at some of those clubs, I would definitely take it. I'm not there actively pursuing it though.
For sure. Yeah. And
the path is through production.
100%. And like I was telling you beforehand, a lot of these clubs are starting to, especially like a couple of the big name ones, they're really starting to go, all right, we want to book artists because, a lot of them are owned by big big labels that do festivals and all that, and they want to be marketing correctly. You know, they don't want to just get 100 people in there for them to never return again. You know, they'd rather have dedicated fans coming through and you know, discovering the club and all that good stuff. So yeah, no, the quality over quantity, man. I've learned that time and time again. You start getting in that motion, like, oh man, like I got so many shows. And
I've DJ'd an F45 class at 7 a.m. on a Saturday for free.
Okay.
And you know, this is when I was like, I'm just gonna play anything and everything. I had this stupid bit where I just would, like, hey, oh, you guys are getting together? You guys need a DJ? Like, you know, as a joke, but it kind of turned into a serious thing. And yeah, I never really knew if at that F45 class if people were enjoying it because they're too busy doing box jumps and burpees and, and stuff like that. So after a while, I started to realize I need to be more selective because, you know, you don't want to create that perception that you're going to DJ anything.
Exactly. Yeah. I kind of got to put that value on yourself, you know?
Yeah.
Or, you know, at least get paid,
right.
Get paid decently. Cause like I was telling you, I feel like really, and I know a lot of DJs that do clubs and whatever, but like I said, man, the weddings is just, they just pay so much. It's ridiculous. They come through and, and some people have like $150,000 weddings. My sister's been kind of helping like this wedding person, you know, organize and do all that stuff. And she's like, we just did a wedding for an NFL guy and they literally spent $250,000 on just the wedding. Like, and the DJ made like 15 grand. It was crazy. I'm like, dude, make a quick 15K. Sure. I'll play Bruno Mars all day. You know, I don't care, you know, but you know, you do have those things that come up, like you said, the gym thing. We're like, oh hey, you know, they, you know, because when people aren't in the scene, they just kind of sit there and, oh, it's easy. He could just show up and it's like, dude, I put so much time into this, like, you know,
that no one sees.
At least give me gas money. Like, holy crap, man.
Last summer I did like 8 Mondays in a row at First Street Bar in Encinitas, like on Monday nights. Which is, first off, it's a dive bar. Yeah. Second off, it was on Monday nights. There would be, I don't know, 5 people in there. But I was getting paid, which was nice, but I was also lugging my own gear. And, you know, it was nice because I would DJ for 4 hours straight and they let me play whatever. So I was just mixing house and it was nice to, you know, get a lot of practice and read whatever crowd was there. Yep.
Yeah, you know, and sometimes, like I said, it's necessary to kind of go through the grinder with some of those things and just be, you know, you just kind of learn the lesson that needed to be learned and you move on. But the biggest thing that I can't fathom, and I've talked about this so many times because, like, you know, with myself and with the band and all these things, we've done those shows where it's like Monday, Tuesday night. There's like 3 people in there. I'm like, I think there would be more beneficiary to being closed than to be paying 3 members of staff, paying a DJ to have 3 people. It's like they're losing money being open, you know? It's I don't understand.
Yeah.
But
it sure seems like it.
Yeah. I don't get it. And you know, if I were to own a venue, I would sit there and go, we don't need to be open tonight. Like,
I would like to open a venue, or if I was to open a venue, something that's like, you know, house forward and from like probably like 9 to midnight. Yeah. I'm not really into staying up much later than midnight if I don't have to. Like, why are all the good parties like midnight to 4 a.m.? You know, like,
that is so late.
Love a good afters, but it's not for everybody. Yeah. And it would be nice to have a place where it was just, you know, music focused.
Well, it's just straightforward.
And, but in a more realistic time frame.
Exactly. You know, I've had those same thoughts too, because even with afters, you know, are people really buying drinks at 3 a.m, you know? No. Or, you know, so it's like, I almost feel like with those, you got to sell the tickets. But then, you know, if not a lot of people buy tickets, then you're not making any capital off of it. So I do agree. There is a missing kind of, you know, slot that could be filled in that scene. Because,
well, it seems like that kind of like 9, 10 p.m. is always the warm up time.
Yeah.
But I'm ready for it not to be.
Exactly. I know, right?
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
do the warm up at 6 on a
Yeah.
Friday, and then by the
Happy
time
hour just rolls right into it.
exactly, then 9 p.m. comes.
I'm getting old.
Yeah. Hey, it's all part of it, man. It's
Yeah.
all part of it. Well, cool stuff, dude. So, any future things you want to notify people of? Any like important marks? I know we've touched up on a few
Yeah.
things, but
No, just keep an eye out. I plan to keep releasing music. My stuff's getting better. I'm excited to show everyone what I've been working on now. I have some fun songs, and yeah, man, look out for Rolodolo.
nice. So I'm gonna finish this off with a completely off-topic question here, but favorite men's deodorant?
I've been using Old Spice my whole life.
Okay.
Yeah, you buy the double pack.
Okay. Old Spice. See, man, I used to do Old Spice a lot. Then every time I wear it, I just break out in a rash. Every time
That's unfortunate.
I know.
You should take it up with the Old Spice guy.
I know. Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't know what's in it that just causes that. So I've been having to get like all natural, no aluminum, no,
Uh-oh.
propylene glycol or whatever chemicals are in this stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, just
Good luck with that. I'm sorry. Sorry to hear that.
I know, man. That native deodorant is good, but
Yeah.
it's like $15 for a freaking tiny stick of it. I'm just like,
Uh-oh.
I was hoping you would have recommendations outside of
No, I've been the same guy. What ain't broke, don't fix it.
for sure. Well, good. Stick with it, man, because I'm going
will.
through the my friend Braden. He's always coming with me to my gigs and stuff. Same problem, man. He'll do Old Spice, break out in a rash, and we're both kind of going back and forth trying to
Yeah.
dude, what's gonna be the new staple, But we have yet to find it. So cool, man. All right, guys, we'll give Rolodolo a follow on Instagram. Be sure to check out his Spotify. He's got an EP out. It's totally awesome. Fire EP, great production on it, and stay tuned for his release on Angry Dog Records. Until then, this is Banyan, and we hope you just enjoyed this. Peace out.
Thank you.